Do you find this monument offensive?
It could be.
Certainly
could
be.
Very British.
Not personally.
I think, yeah. Yes.
Why is everyone talking about this post made by the Royal Parks, the charity who manages 8 royal parks, just like this one, Kensington Gardens? Well, it asserts that the Albert Memorial, built in 1872 to celebrate the life of the tragically dead husband of Queen Victoria, is potentially offensive. These are the problematic element of the monument, according to the now deleted post. A larger-than-life Prince Albert is framed by 4 groups of sculptures depicting the peoples of Africa, America, Asia and Europe. This can be seen as the celebration of Britain's vast overseas territories. The Royal Parks wrote, "Many today consider this view as problematic because colonialism often relied on the oppression and exploitation of people's resources and culture." These representations also allegedly depict racial stereotypes. The African one is reportedly particularly problematic, for Victorian guidebooks claimed it represented uncivilized Africa rising up from barbarism. You can see here a white European reading a book to a black African tribesman, supposedly civilizing them. Over here we can see a Native American riding a bison and an Indian sitting on an elephant. These are perhaps racist stereotypes, and thus, according to the Royal Parks, the Albert Memorial reflects a Victorian view of the world that differs from the mainstream views held today. So does this represent what GB News calls woke madness? Well, note this is me editorializing here, but most articles on this topic appear to slightly misrepresent the Royal Parks blog posts. The post also talked about these broken chains underneath the African statue, which represent Britain's proud role in the abolition of slavery. And despite the symbolism, the statues of diverse peoples weren't primarily intended to signify imperial might, rather memorializing their contributions to the Great Exhibition of 1851. And the fact they're reporting on a blog post written in October 2023 in August 2024, it really does feel like a non-story to me. But here's what I want to say about the modern man's proclivities about being offended by statues and monuments of the past that don't represent our modern values. The past is a different country with profoundly different values, and wanting to remove anything that we find that doesn't align with our modern values is perhaps the thin end of a wedge. We can find something problematic about pretty much anyone from the past if we wanted to. Even Gandhi, for he certainly wasn't an ardent feminist. And the Buddha, well, I'm afraid he wasn't an LGBT ally. But does that mean we should be offended by statues of them? I think not, for they have great virtues to be remembered for. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below.
The thing is, like, it's a piece of history, but again, I'm not from one of the countries I think that's necessarily presented here, so...
America is presented.
Is it? So I
There's
think...
a Native American riding a bison.
Ooh, classic.
A bison.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
It's world history, and there's always something we can learn to do better, but it's important not to forget the past. It's more important to learn from it.